Nick speaking, and welcome to this video on how to pin models. Now, if you already know how to pin models, then you're probably not going to get much from this video, to be fair. But if it's your first time pinning, and you're thinking about pinning, then hopefully this is going to be useful to you. Now, I have here an old Tomb Spyder model, and the gun has snapped off. So I'm going to pin the gun back on, basically. Now, when do you pin? Well, usually you would pin if you have two areas which basically are likely to break, which is usually big sections of models, or maybe metal onto plastic, that type of thing really. Anything that's going to basically break off or going to come unstuck with just normal gluing. So how do we do this? Well, what we will need is we need what's called a pin vise. Now, Games Workshop, they have their own one, so it's probably the best one to use, to be fair. I have two. I have the new one and I have the old one. Now, to be honest with you, I prefer the old one, so that's the one I'm going to use. I just find it's a bit easier, and this section here, when you screw in the drill piece, screws up a bit tight, and I just like the feel of the old one best. I mean, the new one works, but I just find this one better. So yeah, here we go. So what we're going to do is, first of all, I've filed these surface areas down. It's nice and flat, so they actually fit flush onto the model. So all you need to do basically is take your drill piece and align it to the centre of the section that you're going to drill, like so, and then very gently twist the drill and start making a hole. Now, how deep you go with the hole does depend on the model, because obviously there's some areas you can only go down a certain depth, and other areas you can go much deeper. You will see in a second how I measure how deep I am, and sort of gauge if I'm deep enough. Okay, so I've taken that out, and now I can measure how deep I go by putting the drill in and putting my finger now just there, taking the drill out, and I can see I've only gone in a very small amount at the moment, so I'm going to go in a bit deeper than that. And sometimes when you want to take your drill bit out, it gets a bit stuck. So a little tip here is to twist it the opposite way and just put it out, basically. So yeah, remove any of the surplus metal or plastic, pop in your tool, and there you go, it's much better. So now I'm in that depth. It's pretty deep, so probably going to be okay. I'm going to go in slightly more because it is quite a nice deep area that I can actually drill. So just one more little drill and I'll be ready. Okay, so that piece is done. Now what we're going to do to actually pin this is we're going to use a paper clip, like so, just an ordinary metal paper clip. Effectively we're going to glue that into there and then cut it off so we've got a little pin coming out, and then we're going to glue that into there. It just gives it some extra strength when you're gluing it. So now we need to drill a hole into the other section, which I'm going to do now. So once again, trying to get this in the centre. I've already measured, and I know that the two holes are going to meet in the centre, and they may not always, so you do need to take your time and work out exactly where the holes need to go. So I'm in the centre, and there we go. So now I'm going to drill that in. Now this one, I don't think I can go quite as deep, but I can still get a reasonable depth to get there. Now, quite a nice fixing on this one. just measure the depth. I'm reasonable there, but I can do it a little bit more. And obviously, ideally, you want to make sure you don't drill out the other side, especially if you're doing a delicate area, or even plastic, because you can drill through plastic much quicker. So yeah, just take one little bit at a time, just keep taking it out, keep measuring it. If you do go through the model, it's not a total disaster, you can always green stuff in the little hole that you make, but yeah, obviously it's best to avoid that. So I'm in there quite a nice depth now, so I'm ready now to pin this to the model. So we've got our paper clip in now already, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to trim down the paper clip, so I've got a little piece sticking out. That's what I'm going to pin the gun onto, and hopefully just stick that into there. Here we go. Ah, perfect. Now if I'd cut off too much metal, I have a choice of either drilling the holes deeper or just cutting a little bit more off, but I've judged that perfectly, so what I need to do is glue them together. Now first of all, I shall glue this into the hole. So just put a piece of super glue on here, it will automatically go into the hole, and then push the pin in, and in this instance I'm going to leave that to dry, because I'm going to paint this separately, because it's going to be quite awkward to get to the back piece. And then I'll super glue it on. Obviously with metal you'll be using super glue. I could obviously, if I wanted to, just super glue both bits on at the same time, but that will make it much more secure, less likely to come off, and quite easy to get into position. You'll probably notice this spider hasn't got his head on. That's because I've taken it off. So I'm going to have a different pose on this guy. I think I might have him sort of sitting upright, and then maybe have the head sort of coming down. It should look quite good, hopefully it will work. Okie dokie, well that's it then, and hopefully it was useful to you, and hopefully you enjoyed watching.